Hey guys, back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to do the driver's side axle in a 2016 and up Malibu. It's a pretty easy job. Anybody could do it. Lift obviously would be the easiest, but you could do it on a driveway or on the street for probably like 20 to 25 minutes. Alright, so in this video I'm going to be doing a little bit different. I'm not going to cut anything on the video. It's just going to keep playing. I might speed up some parts, but the overall video before any type of editing is 13 minutes. So it's a very quick job. I also am using a lift, so that might make it a tiny bit quicker, but you might be able to do this in 20 minutes. So I start off by taking the two 14mm bolts, holding the caliper to the caliper bracket. Then I just tie it up and hook it up to the spring on the strut. I like to do this so you're not stretching out that brake line or the brake hose. Then after that, I like to take the pads off. You don't want those pads to fall and break any of the lining. Just put them to the side. Then it's an 18mm nut on the tie rod. So go ahead and take that 18mm off. I was actually really surprised that the tie rod just pulled up like that. I didn't need to bang it off with a hammer. Sometimes you have to bang it off with a hammer. Then it's a 10mm bolt holding the ABS or wheel speed sensor wire. Just take that off. And I like to unhook that wire also from the knuckle. So I'll use just use a clip remover or something just to disconnect it. Put it to the side or let it hang on the caliper. Once again, might speed up some things here, but not too much. Alright, so then it's with an 18mm wrench and the 18mm socket and impact gun or ratchet. It's easier to do with a gun. You take those two nuts and bolts that hold the knuckle to the strut. Sometimes you could kind of like pull up on the knuckle and the bolts can come out easily, but you could lightly hit it with a hammer and they'll come out also. Some people might frown on that, but I'm not really hitting it too hard, just to break it loose. Alright, so once that's done, you want to then remove the axle nut that's holding the axle or the CV shaft to the knuckle, and that's a 32mm. So just gun off that nut. Reason why I'm doing this video like this also is just to show how fast the job can be. When you start cutting videos and stuff, just you never really know like how long a job could really be. I might start doing this. I'm just gonna be trying a couple of new ways on how to put videos and record them. So once you break the axle off of the knuckle, bang it out the hole. Then with a pry bar, I'm lifting the vehicle up now. With a pry bar, you're gonna want to go right there between the transmission and subframe. You can see the inner CV joint, and just with a pry bar you could just pry it open. It comes out pretty easily. This one, sometimes it might be a little bit hard, but it should come out pretty easily, especially on a car like this that's a little bit newer, unless it's really rusted. Lowering the vehicle a little bit. Once again, I'm using a lift, so it makes it a little bit easier. If you're doing this on the ground, you really can't do this as much, this up and down of the car, but bang it out all the way from the knuckle. Then you could easily pull it out all the way. That little retainer right there is pretty important. You don't want to leave the old one in there. Sometimes it can break, and it could do real false readings with the wheel speed sensor. I've had a few cars with ABS lights and stable link codes because of it. I like to lubricate the inner part of the axle so it can be a little bit easier going in. The inner shaft that splines in there. So I line it up as best as I can. And this is probably the part where I'm gonna speed up just a tiny bit, because the first attempt actually was kind of a fail, just the way I was doing it. But this is a pretty good way to put axles in without damaging the threads in the front, or having to bang anything, or damaging any of the splines. So the way I do it is I hook up some vice grips. The first attempt was not successful because I put the vice grips not in a good angle. I'm probably going to speed that part up. But you put the vice grips, and then you try with a pry bar. You find a good place to pry on, and you could pry the shaft into the transmission. So I'm probably going to fast forward this part just a tiny bit. It's only like an extra 30 seconds, so I'm going to fast forward this part. Alright, so right here I'm realigning the vice grips, finding a better location to pry, as you can see, and then I could push the shaft in, line it up straight, and it goes in pretty easily after that. Right there, make sure that it's in all the way. Now you want to put everything back in reverse order. This video is going to be a little bit longer than, for example, my last video, but I feel like overly edited the last video. So I like to put a little bit of lubrication again on the splines on the outside and the inside, so they can go in a little bit easier and smoother. Line it up, push the splines in, threaded some right there, 32 millimeter, and I gun it down. Then I line up the knuckle with the strut, line up those two holes. Once again, 18 millimeter gun, 18 millimeter wrench. Put a little bit of lube. Okay, there is some splines near the head of that bolt, so I bang it in all the way. You don't really need to bang it in all the way because it does pull in the bolt once you tighten that nut, but I like to pull it in. I like to bang it in just to make it a little bit easier, at least for myself. You don't need to hit it too hard. Gun it down. After putting those 18mm nuts and bolts on, then you want to line up the tie rod, hand tight the nut, which is an 18mm as well, and gun it down. After that, you're almost done. All you got to do now is just put the pads back on, then put the caliber and tighten those two 14mm bolts. Put the ABS or wheel speed sensor wire back on. And then it's the wheel and torque the lug nuts, and then you'll be all done. So hopefully you guys like the way I did this video. Only probably like 20 seconds where I sped up. But the video before even speeding it up was around 13 minutes. I think you could probably do this in 25 or less if you're on the street or in the driveway. On the lift, I probably took about 15 minutes if you include the time of lifting it up and taking the wheel off and grabbing on the tools. So hopefully you guys liked this video. Hopefully you guys like the way I recorded the video and edited it. It's a little bit different than other videos. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, check out any old videos, and let me know if you guys want to see anything else, any problems or questions with a car, or if you have a Malibu, I can help out with that. Just let me know. Thanks for checking it out, and see y'all guys next time.